Welcome to my books and story time by mybooksummary.com. Let's explore. From the first page, DeVon Franklin calls readers into a different kind of life. A life defined not by the weight of others' expectations, but by the deep peace that comes from living authentically. In a world obsessed with appearances, achievement, and approval, Franklin argues that true freedom begins the moment you decide that you no longer have to meet anyone's expectations, not even your own conditioned ones. Live free is not just a motivational call to arms. It's a roadmap to reclaim your inner life and design it on your own terms. Franklin doesn't just speak theoretically. He shares his personal battles, navigating Hollywood while maintaining his faith, grappling with marriage, divorce, career, and self-worth, showing that even in the spotlight, the fight for internal freedom is deeply human and universal. His honest voice and practical wisdom create an emotional bridge to the reader. You feel like you're sitting across from a friend who's willing to tell you the hard, liberating truth. Part 1: Freedom starts inside. DeVon Franklin begins by dismantling a dangerous cultural myth: the idea that external achievements will create internal peace. He explains that many people live trapped by invisible chains, chasing approval, success, or validation to feel enough. The more they achieve, the more enslaved they feel. Why? Because expectations are never truly satisfied. Franklin describes expectations as silent assassins that creep into every aspect of life: relationships, careers, family roles, even self-image. Many expectations aren't even our own. They're handed to us by parents, teachers, partners, friends, or social media. Without realizing it, we become actors in someone else's script, living lives we didn't consciously choose. He shares a powerful story about his early career days, when he believed he had to be everything to everyone. The perfect Christian, the perfect executive, the perfect husband. It left him exhausted, disconnected, and anxious. It was only when he paused and asked himself, "Who told me I have to live this way?" that he began to see the cage he had built around himself. The first critical step to living free, Franklin argues, is to recognize that no one else's expectations deserve to control your choices. Freedom doesn't come from changing the world around you. It comes from changing the agreements you've unconsciously made inside yourself. Part 2: The tyranny of expectations. Franklin deep dives into the toxic role expectations play in different areas of life. He shows how expectations, when unmet, trigger disappointment, anger, resentment, and even depression. They become the lens through which we judge ourselves and others harshly. In relationships, for example, many of us enter with hidden contracts. If I love you, you will behave the way I want. When people inevitably fail to meet these unspoken terms, we label them as wrong or unworthy. Franklin confesses his own painful realization. During his marriage, many of his frustrations stemmed not from his partner's actions, but from the unvoiced, rigid expectations he carried. At work, the same dynamic plays out. We expect promotions, recognition, and fairness. Yet life often delivers differently. When reality collides with expectation, we suffer. Franklin offers a simple but revolutionary solution: release your expectations and embrace reality. It's not about having no goals or desires. It's about detaching your emotional well-being from outcomes you can't fully control. He introduces the idea of expectation detox, a conscious process of identifying and letting go of toxic expectations. Through journaling exercises, meditative practices, and honest reflection, Franklin encourages readers to ask, whose expectation am I living under? Does this serve my growth or suffocate it? Part 3: Redefining success. Franklin then tackles one of the biggest expectation traps: our definition of success. From an early age, most of us are programmed to equate success with external markers: money, titles, fame, followers. Yet Franklin insists that true success is internal. It's the daily choice to honor your purpose, your peace, and your authenticity, no matter what the scoreboard says. He challenges readers to write their own success statement, not based on society's metrics, but on what genuinely matters to their soul. Success, he says, might mean becoming a more loving parent, creating art that heals, standing up for justice, or living simply with joy. It might look very different from what your friends, family, or culture applaud. Franklin's personal journey illustrates this point vividly. Even while producing blockbuster films, publishing best-selling books, and gaining public acclaim, He wrestled with deep dissatisfaction whenever he based his identity on others' approval. Only when he reconnected with his inner compass did he feel the grounded confidence that no award or paycheck could give. He shares an inspiring truth. When you define success for yourself, you reclaim your power. No longer tossed around by public opinion or professional comparison, you become anchored, and that anchor becomes your true north in a chaotic world. Part 4. The power of saying no. A crucial skill in living free, Franklin argues, is mastering the art of no. Saying yes to everything out of fear, guilt, or obligation leads to resentment and burnout. But saying no, when done thoughtfully and unapologetically, is an act of self-respect. Franklin dismantles the myth that saying no is selfish. He reframes it as sacred stewardship of your time, energy, and purpose. Each no clears space for your yes to flourish. Each no protects your soul from being spread too thin. He offers practical scripts and examples for how to say no without guilt or cruelty. Whether it's declining a project, setting boundaries with a family member, or turning down a toxic opportunity, Franklin shows that every no is really a deeper yes to your own freedom. He also acknowledges the discomfort that often accompanies setting boundaries. Some people will resist, guilt trip, or withdraw. That's okay, he says. Living free isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about living in alignment with your deepest truth, even when it costs you approval. Part 5. Living free in relationships. Franklin devotes significant attention to relationships because this is often where expectations run wildest. He shares intimate stories from his own marriage and subsequent divorce, not as a way to assign blame, but to reveal the complexities of love, growth, and freedom. He explains that no relationship, no matter how loving, can survive under the crushing weight of unrealistic expectations. True connection requires accepting others as they are, not as we wish they would be. It also requires showing up as your authentic self, without editing or shrinking to fit someone else's comfort zone. Franklin discusses the concept of relationship sovereignty, the idea that both partners are free, whole individuals first, and their union is a choice, not a cage. Respecting each other's sovereignty creates room for real intimacy, not codependency. He also touches on forgiveness, not just as an act towards others, but as a daily practice towards oneself. In relationships, mistakes will happen. Disappointments are inevitable. Freedom means learning to forgive quickly, yourself and others, so that bitterness doesn't build a prison inside your heart. Part 6. Faith and freedom. For Franklin, faith is not just a private belief. It's a powerful engine for living free. He speaks candidly about his relationship with God, framing divine connection not as a rigid religious duty, but as a source of unshakable inner liberty. He invites readers to see themselves through the eyes of unconditional love, not through the distorted lenses of fear, shame, or comparison. When you understand that you are already worthy, already enough, you stop striving to earn approval through external achievements. Faith, he says, allows you to step boldly into uncertainty. It gives you the courage to risk failure, to stand alone if necessary, and to trust that your path is meaningful even when it looks messy or unconventional. Franklin shares scriptures, prayers, and reflections that helped him through some of his darkest, most confusing seasons. He offers readers not a dogmatic formula, but a compassionate invitation to root their freedom in something deeper than circumstances, something eternal. Part 7. Freedom every day. Living free is not a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. Franklin describes freedom as a muscle that needs regular exercise. Some days it's easier to honor your truth. Other days, fear and old patterns resurface. That's okay. The goal is progress, not perfection. He encourages readers to create daily rituals that reinforce freedom: morning affirmations, gratitude lists, time for creative expression, check-ins with trusted friends or mentors. These small habits create an environment where authenticity thrives and expectations lose their grip. He also reminds readers that freedom is contagious. When you live free, you unconsciously give others permission to do the same. Your courage plants seeds. Your authenticity lights paths. In a divided, anxious world, a person who lives free becomes a beacon of hope. Final thoughts: your life, your terms. In the closing chapters, Franklin circles back to the heart of the message. Your life belongs to you. No one else can walk your journey, define your worth, or write your story. You have the divine right and responsibility To live freely, fully, and fearlessly. Living free doesn't mean you'll never face criticism, rejection, or failure. It means you'll face those challenges from a place of inner security, knowing that your value isn't on trial. It means you'll build a life so aligned with your truth that even on hard days, you'll feel a deep, quiet joy. The joy of being fully, unapologetically you. DeVon Franklin's Live Free is more than a book. It's a mirror. It invites you to see yourself clearly, love yourself fiercely, and set yourself gloriously free. Stay tuned for more enlightening content. Head over to www.mybooksummary.com. Don't forget to subscribe and share the magic with friends, and let's grow together through the power of books and interesting stories.